Good evening. Happy Sunday. Happy July 7th. Just gonna run with this music. Some ad must have popped up on one of these windows. I think it's appropriate. I just wanted to do a little impromptu on the upcoming shuttle launch of the SpaceX Zuma. I guess it's going to be launching in an hour and 5 minutes from Area 59 in Cape Canaveral, Florida. So, what is Zuma? What does Wikipedia have to say? Always kind of a nice base to start with. Zuma is the code name for a secret United States government satellite. The specific agency in charge of the Zuma project has not been disclosed. Interesting. Launch. The satellite has been built by Northrop Grumman and will be launched to low Earth orbit, about 2,000 kilometers altitude, by SpaceX. Okay, so the satellite was built by Northrop Grumman. What do we know about Northrop Grumman? Northrop Grumman Corporation is an American global aerospace and defense technology company formed by Northrop's 1994 purchase of Grumman. The company was the fifth largest defense contractor in the world in 2015. Northrop Grumman employs over 68,000 people worldwide. It reported revenues of $24.508 billion in 2016. Northrop Grumman ranks 124 on the 2015 Fortune 500 list of America's largest corporations and ranks in the top 10 military-friendly employers. It is headquartered in West Falls Church, Virginia. Okay. Affiliated companies and partners. Gremotech, a subsidiary, is the foremost manufacturer of remote control vehicles for explosive ordnance disposal and hazardous material handling. A UK-based subsidiary, Park Air Systems, provides VHF and UHF ground-to-air communication systems for the civil and defense markets. Northrop Grumman has also worked closely with Antenna Associates, Inc., a manufacturer of identification friend or foe, IFF, secondary surveillance radar, SSR, antennas located in Massachusetts. In August 2007, Northrop Grumman acquired Scaled Composites, in which it had previously owned a 40% stake. In 2008, Northrop Grumman began working with DHS Systems LLC, manufacturer of the Deployable Rapid Assembly Shelter, DRASH, in New York, as part of the U.S. Army's Standard Integrated Command Post System program. Interesting. Originally formed in California in 1939 by Jack Northrop, the Northrop Corporation was reincorporated in Delaware in 1985. Hold that thought. Controversies. In 1999, the company was sued for knowingly giving the Navy defective aircraft. The suit sought $210 million in damages. 10 years later, on April 2, 2009, Northrop Grumman agreed to pay $325 million to settle the suit. Federal was awarded $48.8 million of the settlement. Northrop Grumman stated, "I believe that TRW had acted properly under its contracts and that the company had substantive defenses against the claims." In 2001, federal investigators probed NG for fraud of more than $100 million, systemic overcharging for radar jammers and other high-tech devices used in the B-1 bomber and F-15 fighter and the B-2 stealth bomber. In 2003, the company was sued for overcharging the U.S. government for space projects in the 1990s. Northrop Grumman paid $111.2 million to settle out of court. There's other controversies. I'm not going to read them all. But there is one other thing to note. International Traffic in Arms Regulations, ITAR violations. U.S. State Department investigators found that Leighton Industries, a subsidiary acquired by Northrop Grumman in 2000, had provided portions of source code used by guidance and navigation system interfaces aboard Air Force One to a company in Russia in 1998. Northrop Grumman agreed to pay $15 million fine for 110 violations occurring between September 1998 and November 1998 of the Arms Export Control Act and the International Traffic in Arms Regulations. Additionally, documents filed by the State Department state that between 1994 and 2003, Northrop Grumman failed to notify the U.S. State Department about the computer guidance systems also being transferred to Angola, Indonesia, Israel, China, Ukraine, and Yemen. Okay, we'll pause it there. Okay, so back to the Zuma satellite here to be launched shortly. Wikipedia. Zuma is the code name for a secret United States government satellite. The specific agency in charge of the Zuma project has not been disclosed. So, when they say agency, I'm thinking more of an arm of the government like FBI, CIA type. I don't think of like a branch. When they say agency, to me, the branch is perhaps the one executing the project. So what does the interweb have to say? Space.com. Now this was published a little ways back, November 15th. Here's what we know about the secret Zuma payload SpaceX is launching. So SpaceX is the company that is in charge of launching the project. And they're using a Falcon 9. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launches the NROL-76 satellites for the U.S. National Reconnaissance Office on May 1st, 2017. A Falcon 9 is scheduled to loft a mysterious payload called Zuma for the U.S. government on November 16th. So it seems like, yeah, this has just been postponed and postponed. Update on January 5th. SpaceX is now targeting at January 7th launch on the secretive Zuma spacecraft from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Liftoff slated for 8 p.m.